teams are concerned, and I think the league is concerned about the number of different ways in which guys have been paid not to play over the last several years. That could be the John Wall situation, which was, I guess, sort of mutual. There could be the Ben Simmons situation. It could be Kyrie and refusing to be vaccinated, and so he wasn't playing. There are various other versions of this, but there is, and then you could throw load management into this as well. And how long should you have to come back from an injury? And when you do come back, how often should you be playing? I mean, you can think of any players that might fit these descriptions. Like there's a lot of different versions of this. And I'm not saying right or wrong. You asked, how is it going to factor into the CBA as part of your question? I think the league side of this is going to be, listen, we need to be protected. We're paying guys a lot of money to perform. Fans are paying a lot of money for tickets. Maybe not $20,000 Taylor Swift level, but they're paying a lot of money for tickets to come see their favorite players. And if they're not there, and possibly for not an entire season, well, it doesn't look good for the league. It doesn't look good for the way that you provide for the fan base. It's a problem broadly. In terms of like the way, I think we had to handle it from a media side. Look, I try to start from a standpoint of if a guy has, mental health concerns, everybody needs to respect that, of course. I think the difficulty in the Ben Simmons case, which is different than some other ones that we've seen in sports, is that it was very opaque. We really didn't know what was going on. And the order of events was made it more complicated to immediately go to a place of like, oh, okay, well, we should all just understand and have sympathy, because the way it unfolded was, sorry to bring back bad memories, Danny, but you guys lose in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. Ben passes up the shot under the hoop, passes up an open dunk, basically. Ben gets kind of criticized by Joel Embiid and Doc Rivers. Ben feels like he's, seemingly been betrayed, whatever. And then months later, there's a trade demand, and the trade demand does not end up in an actual trade. And then camp starts. And now it's a question of, is he showing up? And he is showing up. Now he's going to practice, whatever. And somewhere in the midst of all that, and I don't have the whole timeline in front of me, but somewhere in the midst of all that, it was, oh, no, he's got some mental health concerns. Or he's not. They didn't even say mental health. I think the way it was framed, and it was all, of course, anonymous sources at that time, I think it was not mentally ready to play. And listen, we live in cynical times in a cynical world, and I work in a cynical business. When someone said, I'm just not mentally ready to play, but this is like months after a trade demand that wasn't fulfilled, it kind of sounds like you just don't want to play because you didn't get traded and you wanted to be traded and you're bitter at the organization. That's what it sounds like.